Hey everyone, and welcome back. Tonight, we're diving deep into one of aviation's most haunting and enduring mysteries. Picture this: a warm summer night, July 17th, 1996. A routine flight, TWA Flight 800, is getting ready to jet off from New York, heading for the romantic city of Paris. On board, 230 souls, families embarking on adventures, tourists eager for new experiences, dreamers chasing their passions. They took off, soaring into the night sky, completely unaware that this journey would be unlike any other. What happened next wasn't just unexpected, it defied all logic. Just moments after takeoff, a sudden, blinding explosion. A terrifying flash ripped across the sky. Then, horror, as the shattered remains plummeted into the vast, dark Atlantic Ocean. The year was 1996, and the world was about to witness one of the greatest, most perplexing aviation disasters in history. This isn't just a story about a plane crash. It's the gripping search for the truth behind TWA Flight 800. Let's set the scene. It's near Long Island, New York. A magnificent Boeing 747, the iconic TWA giant Flight 800, disappears from radar in a heartbeat. In mere seconds, this colossal aircraft disintegrated high above the ocean. There was no desperate distress call, no warning whatsoever, just silence, then chaos. The crash was utterly brutal, claiming the lives of all 230 people on board. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a catastrophe that demanded answers, and fast. And so began what would become the most expensive and incredibly complex investigation in aviation history. The burning question was, what brought down the jumbo? The wreckage, strewn across a vast area of the ocean floor, was immense. Thousands upon thousands of pieces, personal belongings, twisted metal, vital evidence, all scattered beneath the waves. The U.S. Navy and the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, were immediately mobilized. Their first, most urgent priority, rescue and recovery, but also to meticulously reconstruct the plane, piece by painstaking piece. It was like an impossible, macabre metal jigsaw puzzle. As the fragments were painstakingly brought ashore, they were assembled inside a massive hangar, slowly taking shape, forming a ghostly skeletal outline of the once proud aircraft. The initial question on everyone's mind was clear. Was it a bomb, or was it a catastrophic mechanical failure? The investigators were relentless, working tirelessly for months, often at sea, retrieving nearly everything imaginable. The cockpit, the landing gear, the engines, all recovered. Crucially, the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder were also found, miraculously intact. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the secrets they would reveal. But what they heard, what they saw, was absolutely nothing. Total silence from the crew, no indication of trouble until the very last split second. This left investigators with a blank slate and a deepening mystery. With no immediate answers from the black boxes, the NTSB shifted its focus to structural analysis. They meticulously examined every recovered piece, searching for clues. Their detailed analysis pointed to the first rupture occurring in the center wing fuel tank. This particular tank was either empty or nearly empty at the time of the explosion. This led to the official hypothesis: a fuel vapor explosion. The idea was that highly flammable fuel vapors in the tank somehow ignited. But where did the ignition come from? The most probable candidate, they theorized, was an electrical fault, a short circuit, creating a spark. Combined with the heat generated in the center tank during flight, these flammable vapors could have been ignited. This then was deemed a tragic accident, a purely technical conclusion. The most likely cause, they said, had been found. However, despite the NTSB's thoroughness, this official theory didn't entirely convince everyone. There was a significant hole in the explanation. The sheer force of the explosion, the extent of the damage observed, seemed excessive for a simple spark igniting fuel vapors. For many, the official explanation felt incomplete, leaving a lingering sense of unease. And this is where the story truly changes course. The accident began to transform from a technical mishap into an international enigma. The world wanted to know more. What else could possibly have caused this jumbo jet to explode with such devastating force? It was at this point that a popular, almost grassroots investigation gained incredible momentum. Soon, eyewitnesses began to emerge, not just a few, but dozens of them. Sailors who were out on the water that night, private pilots flying nearby, and countless Long Island residents who were simply looking up at the sky. What made their testimonies so compelling was their striking consistency. Almost all of them reported seeing a flash, and then, crucially, a distinct trail of light ascending from the horizon, moving directly toward the plane. This was a game changer. Was it a missile? A projectile? The accounts were far too consistent to simply dismiss. The spatial connection between this rising light and the plane's disintegration became undeniable. Outside researchers and independent investigators began to put forward a bold theory. TWA 800 was hit. Perhaps by a stray missile, potentially from a Navy warship conducting exercises in the area. A fatal error, a terrible accident, or even something more deliberate. The sequence was clear in their minds. The trail of light, the impact, then the catastrophic explosion. The weight of the witness evidence was incredibly strong, but authorities vehemently denied these claims. Was it a state secret they were hiding? Or was it mass paranoia, a collective misinterpretation? Official agencies pushed back hard. The Pentagon adamantly denied any military exercises in the area that night. The NTSB, standing firm on its technical findings, officially ruled out the missile theory. Their technical argument was precise. If the plane had been hit by a missile, there would have been chemical trails, specific ordnance residue, found among the wreckage. Nothing of the sort was discovered. So the official conclusion remained unwavering, an internal failure. Yet the theories didn't stop at missiles. Imagination, fueled by the lack of concrete answers, began to explode. Some even dared to suggest something truly outlandish, a small meteorite, an object from space colliding with the aircraft. While the chances were minuscule, an incredibly rare random collision, the statistics were overwhelmingly against it. Furthermore, the observed damage was simply inconsistent with such an impact. This theory was quickly and rightly dismissed. The focus, everyone agreed, had to remain on Earth, not the cosmos. So, what was it? A rare, tragic accident, or a deeply guarded secret attack? The NTSB eventually closed the case, officially stating that the most likely cause was the explosion of the center wing fuel tank due to flammable vapors and an unknown ignition source. This accident, heartbreaking as it was, did force significant changes in aviation. New rules were implemented, including the development of inerting systems for fuel tanks, designed to prevent such explosions. Aviation safety was, in some ways, rewritten because of Flight 800. But even with new safety measures, the doubt lingered. For many, the official truth was simply too painful, too incomplete, to fully accept. The mystery of TWA 800 became a powerful symbol, a clash between official science, painstakingly gathered data, and the raw, compelling power of human perception. It was witnesses versus data, bureaucracy versus emotion. 230 people died that summer night. The case was officially closed, yet for countless independent investigators, for the families who lost loved ones, and for many in the public, the enigma still hangs heavy in the air. What do you really believe happened that night in 1996? The truth, as we've learned, is sometimes far more frightening and complex than any single explanation. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into TWA Flight 800. If you found this captivating, please hit that like button, share this video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next mystery. We love having you here.